the man carried his son's urn, planning to bring him home for burial, but on the way he ran into a few young people with a broken down car. Out of kindness he stopped to help them repair it for free. While chatting casually, they mentioned a certain case. As a wanted man, he realized they were talking about him. Before he could recover from the shock, he heard from their own mouths that they were the bullies who once tormented his son in school. They even openly said his son deserved to die. Hearing that the man was so furious, he smashed their car window with a wrench. The group panicked and pulled out their phones to record, threatening to call the police. The man was terrified because his son's ashes were still in the car. If he was arrested now, his son would never be buried. So he had no choice but to suppress his rage for the moment. Just days ago, his son was run over in the street by the richest man in town. That man relied on his wealth and power to easily escape justice. So the father took revenge with his own hands. He used a homemade gun to kill the tycoon. The police quickly issued a wanted order with a reward of $800,000. The man had no choice but to flee with his son's ashes, only to encounter the three young people with the broken car. At first he didn't want to waste time stopping, but the two young men begged earnestly, and thinking of his son who was about their age, and how late it was at night, he finally decided to lend a hand. He even offered them some snacks out of kindness, but he never expected their words would completely enrage him, which led to the scene at the beginning. At that point one of the women demanded $50,000 in compensation, but the man searched his whole body, and didn't even have a single dollar. Not believing him, she told her friend to search his car for valuables. The man secretly grew alert. His hand quietly moved to the knife at his waist. If they discovered the secret in his car, none of them would leave alive today. But the friend only found a wristwatch. It was the birthday gift from his son when he was alive, the man's only keepsake. He tried to snatch the watch back, but that odd reaction made the woman suspicious. She thought the watch must be worth a fortune, and refused to return it. Since she still had the video of him smashing the car earlier, the man had no choice but to back down. But when he saw them getting ready to drive off, he couldn't hold back anymore. He blocked their car, demanding they return his son's watch. The three looked at each other, and then drove straight at him, hitting him and knocking him to the ground. Afraid he might come after them later, they decided to burn his car. One of them grabbed gasoline from the trunk, poured it all over his car, and set it ablaze. Flames swallowed the vehicle instantly. His son's ashes were still inside. The man struggled with all his strength to open the door, trying to save the ashes and his weapon, but he could only watch as the car was reduced to ashes. No longer able to contain his rage, he vowed to make them pay the ultimate price. He immediately called his partner, briefly explained the situation, and asked him to come help chase them down. Maybe it was karma. That night heavy rain began to pour. As the three drove away, they suddenly felt their tires run over something. In panic they thought it was just a stray dog. Selfish as they were, they didn't care about an animal's life, so they didn't bother to stop and check. Instead they hit the gas, but retribution came swiftly. What they ran over wasn't a dog, it was a massive rock. The car instantly spun out of control and rolled down the mountainside. The three were trapped inside, crushed in the twisted wreckage. They screamed desperately for help, but the man had already arrived with his partner, weapons in hand.